Hello and welcome to this episode of Jocks and Jills. It's brought to you by Shark Ninja, Shark Beauty, Shark Home, and Ninja Kitchen. And today we want to tell you about the Shark Power Detect 2-in-1 robot vacuum cleaner and mop with Never Touch Pro Base. This combined vacuum and mop is designed for better, faster, and smarter cleaning with low maintenance. It automatically empties debris into the 60-day capacity bin, refills its own water tank for up to 30 days, and washes and dries the mopping pad after every clean. If you want to get your hands on one of these or any Shark Ninja, Shark Beauty, Shark Home, or Ninja Kitchen, we have a promo code for you. It's JOCKS15. Make sure you're using that. Shark Ninja is a proud founding partner of the PWHL, our presenting sponsor here at Jocks and Jills. Let's get her started, Tessa. Episode 22.
Yeah.
Very happy to have you here.
I am going to say I'm just happy to be here breathing. Julia, the holidays were fantastic. You know that. Obviously, holidays for everybody are gluttonous. For myself,
Yeah.
I felt that hurt, back on my first beer league game. Okay, let's break this down for you. So we usually there's a group of 30 of us, and whoever can make it makes it. We just drop a poll, okay? There was only enough players for 2 subs on each bench, and we played 4-on-4 on Olympic size ice.
Oh
the
my
first game back from the holidays.
Gosh, that's actually first practice back. It's like you had a coach and you're coming back to training camp.
It was wild. And also it was a really close game. So it was highly competitive. So everyone was trying really hard. And the commish was just giving pump up speeches in the intermissions. We were down by one the whole time. Literally one of the other team, my teammates, she wasn't my teammate in this game. Leah Craig skated by the bench at once to chirp me. And I was literally laying on the bench on my back, just praying to whatever God is out there to help me because I was sucking wind through a straw and I was breathing blood. It was awful. And she just was like, I was just going to chirp you and I feel bad. I'm going to leave you alone. I was like, thank you. Go away.
Did you get the win though? Can I ask?
No.
Oh, sorry.
Listen, and I take full responsibility for this one. I'd worked out a little bit too hard. So my groins and my hippies were really sore. And there was a play where Leah was making a break for it and I knew I had to pivot and I just couldn't. I couldn't pivot. I just skated backwards slowly and just let her go on a breakaway. And she scored the game winner. Yeah. So that was on me. I take full blame for that one. Media, come at me. I deserve it all. I'm sorry.
No, it's fair. That's nice of you to admit it here in the podcast. I'm glad you're feeling good.
Yeah. What about you?
2026 is here. I'm getting married in 2026. All I think about is my wedding right now. I'm deep in wedding planning. I wasn't thinking about it really at all until the calendar changed. Now I'm like, oh my God, I guess I have to do stuff. So that's what my week has been like. A little bit of quieter game week in the PW. So I've had some time to, figure that out. And it's actually been fun.
To harass Greg Fast as much as you could.
Harass Greg Fast as much as I possibly can. Stress my mother out by... my poor Italian mother, she had 500 people at her wedding. So I'm trying to I'm just trying to, keep her calm at all times. She's the best. So yeah, wedding planning is a true dream. Another true dream is that you and I got to finally sit down and look at this is going to sound highly boring to everyone listening, but some analytics this past week.
Yep.
So we've changed stuff around a little bit in the show where there's a lot of games happening in the PWHL. So we're going to hit on storylines more so than we're going to break down every individual game. We're still going to break down the most exciting plays and things like that, of course. But I don't know. Let's see what y'all think as we get into our headlines this week in the PWHL. The Sirens, Tessa, they stay red hot. 4 wins in a row for New York. Second place,
that's
Kaylee
the biggest part for me.
It's another shutout. Her third this season in that win against Toronto. She's just been absolutely unbelievable. Culty gets another couple goals in that game.
Yep.
Good for second in the league behind Kendall Coyne Schofield. We're all wee-wooing for New York.
Everybody's wee-wooing. New York's wee-wooing. The team's wee-wooing. We're wee-wooing. This is what we expected to see from this team. And it's awesome to see that they're finally, getting their flowers and being rewarded for the effort and, the draft picks and the rebuild that they did. They got a little assist and some help from the expansion, I'm going to say, just to fully hit the reset. But Kaylee Osborne, shout out to you. This has been fantastic and awesome to watch and see, and the compliments that she's getting from everybody as well. Look, I've talked before about goalies that can play the puck and how helpful it is. She's been fantastic. fantastic. Greg Fargo went as far as saying she's the best in the world at playing the puck. And I'm not going to argue, just from what I've seen. Fantastic. So props to her. They also got another big announcement that came out, Julia, that I think is really cool. And it's a full circle moment for Casey O'Brien. April 4th, the team's going to be playing at MSG. Like, this is worth a trip, fans. If you're out there, MSG is such an iconic venue, but the fact that the women are playing there is really cool. I dig it. We got to try and get there.
Yeah, going to be so cool to see PWHL hockey at MSG. Sirens headlining that game. And man, if they're still rolling this way.
Imagine.
Wow, I bet New York loves teams that win. Like, New York is going to have the whole city behind them very soon if they continue on a tear like this.
Get on board, New York. Your team's cruising.
Their
Get
stars
on the bandwagon
are so exciting. Like, they're fun on social media as well. Like, Culty on social and Culty on the ice. I'm so impressed by her. She's just like the most entertaining character on and off the ice. I just love her. And you know what? We didn't mention this on the podcast, but she posted on her Instagram story when she went home for Christmas with Spritz, and she put reunited. And that just... it made my day.
Yeah.
She got some extra star power from going home and like getting to pet Spritz.
Love
so
that.
That's good.
They're only 4 points behind first. So look at that's just one win and an overtime loss, really.
Happens really fast. Happens really
quick.
fast. And we know who's in first. Let's talk about them. Boston still undefeated at home.
Yeah.
That was a great game to see. I want to say Hillary's return only, and it was Hillary's return, and that's the headline. But also it was like half of the Fleet's roster from last year returning to Aganis and playing for the Seattle Torrent. And Boston bounces right back after their loss to Vancouver. Gets back in the win column with a close one over Seattle there.
This game was so strange. There was only 7 shots total in the third period between both teams.
I hate that.
I know. It's so weird. I was like, what is happening? These are two great teams. They're just back and forth hockey, good battles, turnovers. Like, I don't know. It's interesting. But hey, I feel like Boston is still proving and setting the bar and the standard for the rest of the league. So props to them, props to their new coach, and props to Aaron Frankel doing badass things. Love the goal from Hannah Bilka as well. Nice feed from Hill for her goal. So a nice moment. And again, it's like was bumping. It seemed like a lot of fun in there, as Boston fans are. You guys show up and show out. Props to all of you. Love your hats. Keep it rolling.
Yeah, I had that one circled, honestly, as a big game this season, and seeing all those players return to Aganis. So they got a nice welcome back. But I think Boston's pretty happy with their team right now with the way things are going.
They should be. And
things end well on both sides.
Keller got a goal off of a one-timer. I screamed.
Hey, that's what we like to see.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go through some injuries that happened in the league. Ottawa's down to Tendy right now. Ahala goes to LTIR. She's been dealing with an illness. As such, the Charge have signed Sarah Coe. We're thinking of Ahala. We'll talk about her being named to the Finnish team. So hope she's doing better for that.
And they placed her on the LTIR retroactive to the 18th of December, just so everybody's aware.
Yeah, so she's been fighting it for a while. I think people have been wondering why she's skating by herself and such, dealing with an illness. So hopefully she's feeling better soon. Dominique Petrie officially headed to LTIR. So sad to hear this for her. Minnesota has reactivated Caitlin O'Donohoe from the reserve player list. I mentioned I was at that game in Montreal when she took that hit. Just, she was in a lot of pain. I feel terrible for her. Ken Klee was saying at practice that she's looking at other options for her lower body injury. So, Dom's Petrie, obviously last year was derailed by injury in her rookie season when she was off to such a great start. So we're thinking of her like such a great human and player, and just hoping she could get back to fully healthy very soon.
Yeah.
Sarah Nurse, an update there as well. Brian Idalski says we'll figure out in the next couple of weeks with some appointments and a little bit more information. I'm sure you know Hockey Canada would like to see her in a few more games before the Olympics. I know we'd be eager to get her back as soon as possible, but we want to make sure we're doing right by her and that she's not yo-yoing and dealing with something for the full season that can get taken care of right now. So Sarah Nurse will get a full update on in the next couple of weeks per him, but we have heard she is skating, Tessa.
Yeah, which is good to hear that she's been on the ice and she is moving around and skating. So that's progress, and that's all you want to hear. What I love about this is it's not a race to get her back in time for the Olympics. The priority is to have her healthy long-term, because this is what we've been waiting for. This league, this is her job, and she's taking it as such. And I love that that's the approach. You know, the Olympics come around every 4 years. Obviously, she wants nothing more than to be on the Canadian national team, but her health and longevity is the most important here. And I props to the team and props to her for handling it that way.
Yeah, really happy that both parties are prioritizing that. So we're thinking Sarah, she continues to work her way back towards health and back to being in that Vancouver GoldenEyes roster where she got the first goal of the season, and then we haven't been able to see her since. So we know GoldenEyes fans and us too, we're hurting to see her back on the ice. So we're thinking of Sarah. This was great for New York. Dale Ross makes her debut in that game at Toronto. 2 hits and a block shot in that. She was the 4th round pick for New York, their only defender selected in the draft. She had to have knee surgery this offseason. She dealt with injury last year as well. But I know that the Sirens and Greg Fargo are really excited about her game. He said she brings a little bit of a different element to their back end. Like, she's physical. People hate playing against Dale Ross. So she's just going to keep getting more comfortable and being more of a problem back there.
Loved what she said. She was just like, I played with a torn ACL. She had a brace on. She played with a torn ACL last season. So she doesn't consider herself injured. It's just working back to good, and good for her. That's the proper mindset. Don't dwell. Don't rest on your sorrows. It's just like, it's work, and I'm getting back. And she is. So awesome that she contributed. She's going to be back in the lineup, and she's going to be a problem.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I forget where it was, but she was named one of the players that people hate to play against. Not one of the players that people hate to play against the second most. The only player ahead of her was Abby Murphy in the NCAA last season. So she is definitely a problem to play.
If you're beating out Abby Murphy, holy smokes.
You need to go to jail, I think. The authorities have to be contacted at that point. Okay, so that's where we're at in terms of injury updates, roster changes. We got some Olympic rosters, more of them. We updated you on Japan, France, USA, and we've got some additional ones released. Team Finland has announced their roster. And when we're talking Olympics, we're talking international, we're talking prospects, we want to bring in our friend Emma Buckles to chat about, players, prospects, fun, and because we haven't had Emma Buckles on in a while. And I think we said something blasphemous about her recently on this show that I'd like to get her thoughts on. Come on, Buckies, come on in.
Finally, I get to say my piece.
She's alive.
Recently on this show, I actually don't know if it'll air yet at the time we're filming this, but I think we were talking to Kristen O'Neill, and we were talking about camping, and we were talking about a Jocks and Jills camping trip. And we actually said we think that Buckles would be the worst camper on the Jocks and Jills team. Do you confirm or do you deny?
Yeah.
You know what?
For the record, that interview hasn't aired yet, but that was verbally said.
You know what? There's a lot of things I'll disagree with you guys on, and that is the one thing I might agree with you guys on. I don't think I would be the greatest camper out of this group.
No, that's okay.
No. Yeah. We said that Jackie would keep us alive. She'd be like hunting and fishing, and she'd like be making like different pulley systems and stuff to keep our camp going. And I don't know what you'd be doing, but Tessa,
I bring the ox.
You'd be the DJ, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
You'd just be singing in the corner if there was no ox. Yeah. Okay, let's get into these rosters. Team Finland announces theirs. PWHL players headlining that roster. Karvinen, Tapani, Savalainen, Ahola. There's lots of NCAA studs, SDHL stars on this roster as well. You just had Nieminen on the show. I know Flo's really excited about her. Anyone else on this Finland roster that pops to you from the NCAA prospects-wise here?
Honestly, yeah. Like, I mean, Nieminen, I don't think there's been a show where we haven't talked about her. So yeah, that's a big prospect in our opinion. Our biggest European prospect that we've been chatting about. But yeah, no, there's a lot of exciting young talent on this team. This is going to be a young driven team. Petra Nieminen, though, when it comes to prospects, that's the biggest target for us.
Yeah. Pretty cool to see Jenny Hirakoski back on the world stage as well. I wasn't sure. I didn't know. I wasn't sure her plans, but the Finnish goat back in a Finnish jersey.
Yeah, she's been through so much in the past couple seasons. I'm so happy to see her at the Olympics. Like, it actually doesn't feel like the Olympics to me unless Jenny Hirakoski is there, to be so honest with you.
Totally.
Any other thoughts on that Finnish roster, Tessa?
No, I feel like I would like to see Finland take another step. I felt like they were close in years past and they took a dip, but I would like to see this team, like Buckles said, with some young blood in it, really get reinvigorated. Hopefully Sani Ahola is healthy again and they can, I think top 4, it's going to be a battle top 4 between Finland, USA, Canada, and Czechia.
Yeah, and that Czech roster is here too. I saw
Yes.
this was the top comment on the roster and I just had to share it. I should have grabbed the username and I didn't. I'm sorry to whoever commented this. Can't get over this lineup.
Hey, yo.
I love it. That's a good one. That's a good one. And listen, it is a great roster as well. 7 of 8 PWHL teams represented on Team
Wild.
Czechia. The only PWHL team not represented is the Toronto Scepters. But hey, if you're a fan of pretty much any PWHL team, the roster that you want to be watching the most is Team Czechia. It has so much great representation from the PWHL, NCAA, SCHL as well. Carla behind the bench, Colton Kova leading the way.
Got to give a little shout out to Carla, who's currently away from the team, sending all the healing and energy vibes her way. She's getting treatment right now. So, she's doing this properly. She's taking the time away to make sure she's taking care of herself and her health so she can be back and ready to rock and roll behind that bench on the Olympic stage.
Love you, Coach. We're always pulling for Coach Carla here on the show. Buckles, any thoughts on Czechia?
So many. They got 4 NCAA talents. The one that I'm really excited about is the Wisconsin player Adele.
Sapovalivova?
Yes.
Nice.
Julia.
She's awesome.
You took the words right out of my mouth, Julia.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I was
I feel like she's been at Worlds forever, and
She has.
I could just hear Kenzie calling her name. Honestly, she's excellent.
Yeah.
Once
So
it
I'm
starts
really
rolling
pumped.
once it starts rolling off your tongue, it rolls. And she rolls too. She's a gamer. She's going to be a name to watch, not only at the Olympics, but in the future here in the PW as well.
Absolutely.
Hundo. Any other names you're pumped about on that Czech roster, Tessa or Buckles?
Another name that comes to mind, Teresa Plazova, on Minnesota's roster.
Nice.
Also, just a workhorse. I can just see this being, there's more young blood like we talk about. We're just starting to see that shift. Lots of legends that are still in the game, but a lot of young blood that is going to be taking place in this Olympics.
What I love about these Czech players, is the fact that they're coming over and playing North American hockey against some of the best talent in the world because they want to practice and train alongside them and be the best. Like, this Czech team is taking it serious that they absolutely want an Olympic medal or a world medal that is of different color than bronze. And
let's not forget how close Czechia was to knocking off the Americans in the semis, or was it the quarters in Czechia on home ice?
Yeah, and even in Utica with Canada,
right?
I want everybody to realize this team's going to come out, especially the way they've been playing the PW. They're going to beat up teams. They're going to be the most physical team. Like, when they took it to Canada that one game, and for whatever reason the refs were penalizing Czechia, which I was like, stop. They're actually making this a good game.
Right.
They're going to come out and play that way because that works. So it's not going to be, they're not going to stand there and wait for a team to come at them. They're going at you. They've got this young talent that Buckles is talking about, and they've got the confidence in the players that are playing and training in the PW right now with the top players in the world. They're not scared of these players anymore.
No.
They don't hold them on this pedestal. Everybody's even now, which I love. So the Olympic Games, the World Championships are about to become a lot tighter because of this. We're going to see more players come over from other countries, like Nela Lapushinova coming over from Slovakia, right?
Yep.
She's like a 2030 draft pick. It's going to be a while, but whatever. She's worth the wait, I promise.
And she's on our radar.
And she's on the radar in a big way. But the Olympics and the Worlds are about to get awesome. And I love that Czechia is leading the way in all of this.
Yeah, me too. So happy for that. Malinkova, is going to be such a monster out there. She's playing with Poulin every day and Stacy. So pumped to see this Czechia team on the world stage.
Colty's rolling right now. I honestly think that, she's another, she was a prospect, but now, she's going to be a huge veteran for that team. And just the confidence that she's gaining at the highest level in the PWHL, I just can see her rolling into the Olympics here and really, really hot.
Yeah,
team aspect is going to be, can they bring it all together as a team and a unit and play the right systems the right way and play responsibly enough to win on a big stage?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I don't know if there's anybody better at pulling a group together in a short amount of time than one Carla McLeod. So you should be scared of Czechia. I am very excited to see Czechia at the Olympics. Switzerland also announced their roster. That one's headlined by the one and only Alina Mueller, of course. Any thoughts on Switzerland from anyone in the group here?
Yeah, I would love to see Mueller and Stalder really take the bull by the horns and lead the way for this young group. They've been there. They've done all of that. They've both ran into injuries at World Championships and stuff. But I think, this year I want to see Switzerland not just be content with being in a tournament. I want to see them compete in a tournament. And I feel like Alina Mueller's got that fire reinvigorated. Stalder always has it. Stalder.
Oh, yeah. She's one of my favorite players all time.
She's got
so dialed.
Small in stature, but massive chip on her shoulder. Like,
so
get
mean,
out of
I
her
love
way.
It.
Yeah. I'm with it. But yeah, I would like to see this team actually go out there and like play to win as opposed to play to keep it close.
Stalder with a very casual 46 points in 23 games played in Switzerland's top league right now. She would love to see her in the PWHL, but she's helping to grow women's hockey in her country right now, which is also very commendable. And she signed that deal right before the PWHL came to fruition. So maybe if we're lucky, one day we'll get to see Laura Stalder over here in North America. Okay, in Germany boasting 3 PWHL players on their roster: Nina Job-Smith, Kluja, and Sandra Abstrider from the Montreal Victoire. What's got us excited?
I'm excited for this team because Abstrider's actually been seeing more games than she has in any season prior to this. And she's training and playing with the best players in the world. Like, you're taking shots from Pooh and Stace and Abby Rock on a daily. Chances are you're facing some pretty good shots and you're practicing. So like, her eyes are already, creating that neural pathway in her brain for the way shots and plays are coming in from those players. So she's going to be dialed for this team. I think Kluja, or is it Kluja or Kluga? Anyways, she's been playing great. I think the move for her was fantastic. Her and Rattray actually scored a nice goal the other day. So yeah, I love this. I know Job-Smith is just back off the LTIR, but what a time to be excited to play and be able to don your country's jersey. So good for them.
Yeah, pumped to see her on the Olympic stage. And Team Canada, everyone. I know it's probably Friday morning when you're all listening to this. Team Canada roster drops Friday afternoon, 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. We'll break that down for you all. Before it comes out, anyone want to throw any hot takes out there? Yeah. Anyone want to throw any cold takes out there?
I don't know if it's hot and or cold. It might be blasphemous, but I'll say this. I want to see Canada go off the board. I want to see Kendall Cooper donning a Canadian jersey who's proven she can play at the best and not even just play and manage to stay in the game, but actually contribute on a consistent basis with some of the best players in the world who are all on the American national team, whose team is absolutely stacked and just riddled with talent. I'd love to see that. And I also want to see Michaela Cava get a sniff.
We'll be
Throw
here
a jersey on the kid.
If you need us, we'll be here beating Michaela Cava on Team Canada drop.
Please.
Over here on jocksinjills.
Go off the board, because what you have brought together and you tried in the rivalry series wasn't it. There was no spark there. Nothing. So what are you doing? You get 23 players. That's more than a lineup. So why not just bring some extras that might try something?
Yeah. Bring some zest.
Bring some zest.
That's where I'm at. Anyways, but not to say that I know anything, because I don't. This is just what I want to see. I think it would be exciting.
That's our dream.
I mean, this isn't a hot take, but prospect-wise, Chloe Primerano, I want to see her on that blue line. I have a pretty good feeling she's going to be on that blue line. But
you think Caitlin Kramer's got a sniff?
I think that depending on injuries, like we talk about, depending on
the 23-player roster. It doesn't hurt to take her. It's experience.
I know. Once again, I think if I'm Team Canada, you got to see how all these other rosters, even I forgot to mention with Team Finland, Vanahen on Ohio State, just like a lot of young players are being brought up, and Team Canada needs to be a part of that. They need to start to bring them under their wing and show them the biggest tournaments. So Caitlin Kramer, I think, would be a great addition. That might be more of a hot take, though.
I like it though, Bucks. And I noticed some people pointing out online asking why the women's teams can only bring 23 players and the men's teams are allowed to name 25.
So the IHF approved for Worlds for the women to have that, but the IOC did not approve that rule for the women. They just kept it at what it's always been.
Cool. Lame. That's all.
Lame. Lame.
But whatever. We'll continue on. Buckles, thank you for doing this. Everyone, make sure you watch Jocks Next Gen every Wednesday. Most recent episode is out with Tessa Janicki. It's excellent, so make sure you give it a listen. Thanks, Buckies.
Appreciate you guys.
Talk to you on Wednesday, not before then. Just kidding. I'll text you every single moment before then. Okay. Like I said, make sure you're watching Jocks Next Gen. And if you want more hockey analysis, we got more great hockey analysis because Tessa sat down with the one and only Courtney Kennedy for your favorite Friday segment, Courtney's Corner.
She was kind enough to give us time while she was busy at the under-18 Worlds. She's out in Halifax getting her team prepped and ready to rock and roll. I probably interrupted her end of the day beer sesh with the rest of the coaches, but she did it for us because she loves hanging out and she loves the PW fans. So here she is.
She's the best.
All right, taking time out of her very busy day to join us while she's in Halifax. Actually, was it Halifax that your grandmother resided in, or that it was somewhere in the East Coast?
Yeah, Cape Breton. So like where we're headed.
Cape Breton, right? I should have known that.
Where we're headed, like quite literally,
unbelievable.
Like Glace Bay, like yeah.
So Courtney returns home is what we should call this segment. But regardless, head coach, under-18 team, got the team ready to rock and roll. 2 days into your camp leading up to the U18 World Championship. Lots of exciting things happening. Is it fair to say that USA is favored this year? Based on coaching alone?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I just like talk about myself, how good I am. No, what I think is interesting, even from being in a few of these U18s, there's so many good teams. And I think some of the teams don't get enough credit. Like you're like expected to beat a team. And I just think there's some really good teams. And it's not just us in Canada. And so you got to, I think it's a much different landscape than, 10 years ago. And I love it. I get excited for this tournament. I know the players do because every game is very, very hard. And the coaches have different styles of coaching and they have different ways of playing. So your ability to adjust and adapt. But I think it's a wonderful tournament because it's all youth and you're seeing who's good and who's out there. And honestly, anyone can win it. Anyone can win it. And any team can lose a game they're supposed to win. I mean, that's how it works.
Yeah, I love that because our Jocks Next Gen, I find it just makes me want to watch this tournament more, having that show now. Like they've got me intrigued on like who's coming up next. I want to know like a dark horse out there. Yeah. And I feel like for you as a coach, like it must be exciting, not only to see like, okay, wow, look how skilled and smart and talented these players are at this age, but like it's more the potential, I think, that gets me. When you see a player, you're like, ooh, they are just scratching the surface.
Yeah, because they're all so young and they haven't touched college yet. So they haven't had that ability to like grow in that environment and be almost surrounded with more greatness. So then you can become greater. So it is a really fun tournament to get to know players and see like almost raw talent and knowing that they're going to become something, what they will become. But every player on every team has something that they offer, whether it's, their hockey IQ is very high. They have speed. They can shoot a puck, whatever it is, they all have something, a certain niche they bring to the table. So I really enjoy kind of watching the other teams. Like I love going to the rink and watching the other games because it's a very exciting environment.
I don't doubt. You're watching the future of the PW, basically. For all of our fans in the PW, tournament begins, on Sunday? Is that right? Saturday or Sunday?
God, do I start Friday?
Is it Friday?
Yeah.
I got my calendar here. I can tell you right now, it starts Friday. Nope. Oh, do you guys start Friday? I have it in my calendar as Saturday, the 11th.
You know what?
I could be wrong. It's the 10th. You're right.
It might be Saturday. It's one of those things where I'm literally living minute by minute, and we're just kind of taking it day by day until we bus up, from Halifax. But everyone's raring and ready to go, and they're dying to get the tournament going. And
Love it.
I feel lucky to be surrounded by a great group of athletes, very nice people, all the staff, everyone's great. So it's been fun.
So excited. You guys don't even know when your first game is. I love it. U18 is a precursor to basically the Olympics. I feel like we're riding right into it, right off the backs of the Under-18 World Championship. The U.S. named their roster. And like when I looked at it, I just laughed. I was like, this feels unfair.
There's a lot of talent.
What were your thoughts? Well, but then I looked at it, man, and like there's 9 first-time Olympians. And like Olympians hit different is what I talked about on our last episode. So what are your thoughts?
I think obviously the excitement around the new Olympians who have, made it to their first games here. And you get excited for them because you can remember, like, right, Tessa, you can remember when the first time. And it's just like unreal. And I'm so excited for them and to see their successes and to see them reach their dreams and, have that opportunity. But then it's like, okay, cool, I made it. But now it's like, now you got to deliver, you got to go. There's a tournament. It's all business. So it's it's like they have a lot of new names and new Olympians, but they've also been playing on the national team for a few years. You know, they have a few world championships under their belts. So in a weird way, they're a little bit veteran, but there is something different about those Olympic Games and how it hits. So
yeah, the strength of this lineup. Do you see any holes that any other team could potentially that they're praying for that they could take advantage of?
You know, I feel like, you know, every team's going to have their weaknesses. I think you can try to exploit them, but I honestly feel like there's going to be times when the U.S. almost has to give up things for somebody to take it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, I think they
have
are
to
that
beat themselves.
Yeah, I think they're that strong. I think they're really deep in net, and I think when you have a goalie, I think that's a really big deal. I mean, I think everyone thinks that's a big deal, but to be under pressure, make these saves against the most elite players shooting on you, who can get that done under pressure when it's all there and everything's going down, like how it works out. So I don't know. I think they're pretty good. They're pretty stacked and loaded, and then it's just keeping their mindset in the right spot, you know, and staying humble and going out and just working hard every day.
Yeah, I feel like that's it. Just staying focused. It's so easy to get distracted when you're there and get excited,
really
especially when it's your first one. You got a day off. You want to go see all the other athletes. You want to watch a bunch of everything. You want to see your family.
Yeah.
And it's like, hold on, I'm here for one reason and one reason only. Like,
yeah, and
there's
that's
a whole
hard.
year after this to celebrate, you know?
Right. And I get to separate saying, hey, my family's here enjoying the Olympics from a different perspective, and I'm in them. So yeah, it's a whole different thing. My parents, my whole family would be telling me their experience in the Olympics, and I'm like, wait, what? You did what?
Yeah.
And then you did what?
Yeah.
So I know they have the time of their lives, but it's like, I always want to urge players, don't worry about mom and dad and your grandparents getting into the stadium. They're going to sort it out. You keep your mind on, you know, what you're supposed to be doing with your team and your shifts and what you got to do, you know?
Yeah. Well, I'm very excited. I know Team Canada is supposed to name their roster soon enough, and we'll have you break them down. We're actually going to get you every time we have you on leading up to the Olympics. We're going to be breaking down, talking about rosters of every single team that's going to be competing. So it should be good. We talk about PW players that are there, but regardless, I mean, I feel like this U.S. national team just speaks for itself. And, you know, all you got to do is sit back and enjoy the show that they're going to bring to the table.
Yeah, you know, and I love the show part, because for me, when you see women's ice hockey on a stage like that, I want it to be as good as it is. You know, I love watching the game every day. I think watching the PWHL, I think it's fantastic hockey, and I want everyone to see it. So like, tune in, watch these Olympics, watch these women play, and then watch the PW, because they're all coming back into it. And it's just exciting, and it's very good hockey, and they understand the game. They're moving pucks. They're playing fast. They can really rip it. I'm very, very excited to be able to just sit down, kick back, crack open a beer and watch the game, you know?
Same here. Until then, good luck at the under-18s court. We're all rooting for you.
Really appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Again, that's Courtney's CORNAH. It's Courtney Kennedy. She's out there coaching the U18s right now. We'll talk about that as we get a little bit deeper into the tournament. Maybe we'll call up
Tourney gets underway on the 10th, I believe.
Yeah, we'll call up Cheryl and Kens to chat with us as that goes on. And now it's time for our interview segment. This was such a good one, and it's brought to you by Sober Carpenter, the official non-alcoholic beer of the PWHL, brewed for those who love beer without the hangover. Brianna Decker is such a legend for so many reasons. She is, well, we could start with the fact that she's a Hockey Hall of Famer. She's won absolutely everywhere, and now she's behind the bench for the team that just doesn't seem to lose. And we had such a great conversation with her. So here she is on Jocks and Jills, Brianna Decker. All right, we are very excited for this one on Jocks and Jills today. Someone who's won absolutely everywhere, from the Olympics to the World Championship in the NCAA. And now, of course, she's a Hockey Hall of Famer. It's Brianna Decker on Jocks and Jills. Thanks so much for doing this.
Yeah, thanks for having me, you guys.
Yeah, no problem. Should we start with that last bit first? Like the most recent thing, you've been named to the Hockey Hall of Fame. Could you walk us through getting that call to the Hall and the feelings of going in?
Yeah, I mean, I like to obviously share my story when I got the call, because it was probably the most like Minnesotan or Wisconsin thing you could ask for. Like I got it when I was on my John Deere like 0-turn tractor. So it was kind of funny. I mean, I got the call, and at that point I was still working for Shattuck. So I was like, oh, this is probably like, so it came up as a Toronto number. I'm like, like, I'll just catch this later, like probably like a kid who's trying to call or something. So I was like, hang up. And it came through again and I was like, okay. And like the only thing that like kind of tipped me off was like my brother had like messaged me and was like, hey, like the Hall of Fame stuff comes out tomorrow. You think you'll get a like sniff at it? I'm like, no. And then it was like, I just went out with my day the next day and then I got that, like the call was coming through. I'm like, okay, like I should probably maybe answer this. And then they're like, hey, it's Lanny and like Ron. I'm like, okay. So I cut the mower down, got on my front stoop and took the call, but I was like in straight like yard work mode. So, but it was like it was weird because like I got the call and like no one's around me. Like, you know, like people are at work, like my family lives in Wisconsin or all over the place at this point. So I was just kind of like, wow. But I was in complete shock. I had no idea.
No one to tell, no one to hug. You were just
no,
like, you
exactly.
and your John
I'm just there.
Deere.
I'm like, all right, I guess I get back on my tractor.
Gotta keep doing the yard work.
Yeah.
But truly, I mean, okay, let's pull up your elite prospects, okay? You have 2 U18 gold medals. You've got 6 world championship golds. You got 1 Olympic gold. You got 2 silvers from Worlds, 2 Olympic silvers. You got 2 CWHL championships. You have 1 NCAA championship. You have a PHF Isabel Cup. Like, you've done everything. You've got all the accolades in the world champions, from top scorer to top forward to all of this. You really didn't think you had a chance at, like, not even your brother was bang on. Like,
I mean,
you really honestly, truly didn't believe. You're like, yeah, it can't be me. I mean, it is you.
I think like the one thing that really like, okay, I was like, maybe, you know, people have asked me like, do you think you'd get in the Hockey Hall of Fame? I was like, I don't know, like potentially. I think I was surprised that it was like I was on first ballot and like it was my first time even being up for it. I think I'm like pretty young and you know, I think there's just a lot of, the first thing I was thinking about, I'm like, there's so many women who've come before me that, you know, could be in it before me. And like, I think there's a lot of people who are deserving of it. And so I just was like really shocked, I think, with how like I got in as young as I am.
Yeah, but I think it just goes to I mean, compliment, and I'm pumping your tires here, but like the type of player you were and how actually, like how good you were. I don't think it comes down to who deserves. I think it's like, okay, who do we have and who was the best, who's available? And you were. So I think that, quite frankly, was a no-brainer to me. So congrats. I think that's awesome.
Well,
and you
thank
did
you.
a fantastic job on your speech, which is
Unreal.
incredibly intimidating. I mean, were you shaking at the knees going up there? Yeah, I would have been.
Yeah, I was nervous as hell. Like I've been nervous for like 2 speeches in my life, and one of them was that one, obviously, and then the Patty Kaz. I was super nervous. I think because that was like the first time I was like up, like in front of, and you're in front of like your peers, your teammates, like other teammates from other teams. But like I was really nervous for that one. I had a couple of glasses of wine before to help take off the edge, but I was like, I practiced it quite a bit. I mean, and like I read directly from it. Like I don't want to mess up. Like this is like one of the biggest moments. So,
who was the coolest person you met?
And that's a really good question. I mean, honestly, like the class that I was in was awesome. Like with Jen and then Danielle, but then also like Joe Thornton and Duncan Keith and Chara. Like those guys are like, I'm like, those were the cool guys to meet. And so I was like excited about the class simply because like I looked up to watching those guys. Like I remember when I was in Boston, like cheering on Chara, and then like obviously Joe Thornton's just such a legend. And so it was just like cool to be a part of that group. And they were like such humble and like fun people to be around all weekend.
Yeah, that's so cool. Congratulations again on the Hall of Fame. It was really cool to see you go in, and that speech was amazing. You mentioned all your families all around Wisconsin. Can we go all the way back to the beginning then? Can you tell us kind of how you were first introduced to the game back in the day?
Yeah. Well, I have 3 brothers, so 2 older, 1 younger. And so like my parents never played hockey. Like I think I've seen my dad skate 1 time, and it's not a pleasant sight. But like so like my parents never played. My brothers started skating, like they skated on an open rink or open pond like when they were younger. And then someone was like, hey, like you should get your kids into hockey. Like they seem like they're like pretty like natural skaters. And so then I just kind of followed suit. So I just like always wanted to play. Like I had a blast. I remember like my mom tells me the story. She's like, one of the first times I was on the ice, like with like the boys, one of the guy coaches who only had boys in his family, I went up to him and I was like, hey, like, can you help me get the hair out of my face? Like, it was like all, like, my mom didn't know what to do, like all on my face. And like the coach was like, I don't really know how to help you. Like, I don't have girls. So, but it was like, I just like played boys hockey growing up, during my time, like with youth hockey in Wisconsin. And then I didn't really start playing girls until like I was 9 maybe. And, but I was still playing boys at the same time. I played on boys and girls teams. So.
You were double dipping.
Yeah. Like it was kind of cool. I mean, like I grew up playing with Alex Rigsby and Mark Cavallini now, and Kessel. And Kessel and I would play against each other. Like we grew up playing against each other all the time. And then we would play with each other at the end of the year once we both started playing some girls hockey. So we both double dipped all the time, and same with Alex. So it just like the talent, we just needed more competitive games, and that was kind of like boys hockey obviously back then was what it was at. So but yeah, it was kind of cool. Like Cass and I would play against each other all year, and then we'd be on the same line for girls like at the end of the year. So it was kind of fun.
Were you guys just tearing it up together? Like that's kind of unfair, I feel, for everyone else.
It was fun. I mean, I think like when I look back at my hockey career, I'm like, I think it's so cool that like 2 of the like rigs like was down like 15 minutes down the road for me, and then Cass was an hour away, but like we played youth hockey together, and then we played on the national team and Olympic team together. Like that happens maybe a little bit more in Canada, like in Ontario and stuff, but like that really doesn't happen too often. So
was Rigsby a goalie the whole time, or was she like a player part? Like I know
she played out a little bit like when we were younger. Yeah.
Was she a menace?
And then I think no, she was like, she would say this too. She was a much better goalie, but yeah, like when she was younger, she kind of did both, you know, just kind of how like some of the like mite hockey and stuff like that, they kind of switch on. So, but yeah.
That's hilarious. I love that. Like, seriously, what are the chances that, I mean, I guess all 3, it would be great and crazy to see all of you go away NCAA and be studs, but to all be on the national team together, it's got to be like a completely pinch me moment. So you talked about, you know, playing with the boys and looking up to Chara and watching those guys play when you were in Boston. And I felt like, you know, as a young girl playing hockey, my dad did a very good job seeking out the women's game and giving me players to emulate my game after, or at least have a role model to look up to. And it was Geraldine Heaney for me. Who was it for you? Not necessarily a woman, but who was a player that you looked up to and tried to mimic your game after? And then who was your first female role model?
Yeah, so for guys, I mean, because being from Wisconsin, like we don't have a pro team, so like I kind of just looked up to players. And I was more of a Blackhawks fan growing up, but like I loved Jaromir Jagr. Like he was like, I mean, random fact, but like I had a pet chinchilla growing up, like for a hot second. And I know, very random, like why my mom and my dad let me get that, I don't know. But I named it Jaromir Jagr. Like I named it Jags. So like I loved it. I like helped him, and like I tried to like play like him, like his puck protection, his playmaking ability, like I like always admired growing up. And so that was kind of my first like guy role model. Female would be like Cami Granato or like Andrew Ruggiero were like role models for me. And I think like being able to play a world championship with Ange at some point, like I think that was 2011, like that was awesome to like overlap with somebody I looked up to so much. So those are like my like 2 female role models.
Well, I get why you're such a pain in the ass to play against then if you looked up to Rugs. I mean, jeepers. Where did you get that edge in your game? Because I could say firsthand, you're a pain in the ass to play against. Like you and Duggan by far, top 2 on my list.
You're the same.
Next to Rugged.
You're the same. Yeah. Yeah, I think like, I mean, honestly, I just think like having 3 brothers, I had to fight for everything. Like, I think I cried on a daily basis, like playing street hockey, like backyard baseball, like our in-ground pool. Like, I think I got jumped on or whatever, like things thrown at me on a regular basis. So, but my mom always said, like, I would come in crying, like, and she's like, okay, if you don't want to play with them, then don't play with them. And I was like, okay, but like, I have no one else to play with. Like, So I like sprinted back out there and just got back in the fight. But I think that's where my competitive edge came from. And like, I embraced that like physicality and that like every time I was on the ice.
Did you play sports other than hockey in an organized way, or was it just hockey for you?
Yeah, no, I, up until I went to Shattuck, I played 3 sports. So I played softball and soccer as well. So it's basically like spring and fall where fall and spring were soccer, hockey was winter, and then summer I played softball like all summer. So, but then like when I went to Shattuck, I had to stop playing soccer because like they only like allowed us to play like basically the equivalent season for hockey. So quit that. And then I still played softball in the summers, like up until my senior year. So it was like, you know, a lot of athletes do hockey stuff all summer. And I know it's changed, but like back then I was just like, this is great. I get a break from hockey and I played softball, like travel all summer. So
it's the best. I think that's such a major part in minor sports that kids and parents are missing out on is like, it's good to miss hockey and it's good to be eager to go back. And like, you are technically training for hockey when you're playing other sports. Like other sports are hockey is such a 360 reactionary degree game that you do need, like with baseball, the hand-eye, you know, the rotation, all that stuff. I think it's great. And I feel bad for kids these days that are doing hockey 365 days a year. So everybody listen, she's an Olympian and a Hall of Famer. She played a bunch of other sports and put the skates away. It okay.
Yeah.
When you're at Shattuck, I mean, you obviously had to move away from your family. And Julie and I always talk to players that we have on about moving away at such a young age. Was that a hard decision for you and your family?
Well, so like I was playing like boys AAA in Milwaukee, like all the way through 8th grade. And then basically like I found out that like the Milwaukee boys team I was playing on was like no longer going to be a thing. And so like it was either my parents traveled down to Chicago, which is like about 1.5, 2 hours to play like boys or girls hockey, or I'm traveling to Madison, which is like only an hour for my parents. But like with my brothers playing and stuff, it was a lot of travel. And so this was like the next like thing. So I went and looked at Shattuck and I was like, all right, let's go. So it was like tough, but I think I was so excited to be around like people like me and like be able to train with the Lamoureux twins. Like I was like, okay, like these guys are so good. I remember like watching them practice. I was like, all right, mom, like this is where I want to be. Like, and you know, obviously my whole family was supportive of it. And so I had a great experience, and I like didn't really miss my parents until like they came back like 3 weeks into like leaving me, like dropping me off. And then when they left after that, I was kind of like, oh, but then like you just get in the swing of things like school, hockey, travel, games. Like it's just like you have no time to miss people back home. It's like you're just like loving what you're doing. And so that's kind of like how my journey went. And I think now, you know, like when I was coaching at Shattuck, it was like I was trying to explain that to parents who are like, you know, nervous to leave their kids. And I'm like, no, trust me. Like once they're here, it's just like you just settle in and it's just not a thing. I think my parents did miss me more than I didn't miss them though.
Yeah, they'd probably be comforted to hear that. You're so busy. Yeah. So it's better than being homesick. Exactly. You had 2 U18 medals under your belt before you ended up going away to college. What were those first couple experiences like pulling on the red, white, and blue for you?
Yeah, I would say like I was like pretty nervous. I would say the first time, like the first go around, and like I mean, I'll tell us like Coach Stone's story because like I was like U18, and it was the first one was in Calgary, so like that was like a pretty cool moment. But like I like wasn't scoring, and I didn't score a goal until I think like the semifinal game, and she like turns down. I mean, she's an intense person. If people don't know her, whatever, and she like turns down the bench and was like, hey, like about time you came to Calgary. And I was like, my personality, like I went from like, I go from like, okay, like I went from like being like, okay, that was like kind of rude. I was kind of like sad. But then like within moments, I'm kind of like, F you. Like that's basically what I was like. And so, and then after the game, like we had Bob Duraney on the bench too, which he ended up being a national team. Both of them ended up being national team coaches for me too. But like Bob was like, hey, like, and I'll never forget this. He was like, hey, like, there's a difference between good players, and great players show up at the right time. And like, we needed you to score tonight. And I was like, thanks. Like, that was like a nice way of him putting it. And, you know, I still will say like that first U18 championship, like, I would consider us a little bit more underdogs with like the roster that Team Canada had and we had. But, but it was obviously fun to win that first one. And then the second one in Germany was just a whole different experience with Mark Johnson as a coach. And, you know, I think just like our team was, you know, again, of course, like an overtime thriller there. So it was pretty cool to play overseas though at that young age and represent USA.
had Mark already been recruiting you your second year around? Like, had you already decided to go to
Yeah,
Wisco at that point?
I think I had already committed at that point. Yeah, because I committed right before my senior year. Yeah, so
you got a taste of his coaching before you got to go there and be coached by him.
Yeah, so that was cool. I'm like, no matter what, I'm like, I want to be a Badger. So like, this was like, even if I was like, didn't like the experience, I'm like, I grew up wanting to be a Badger. I was going there no matter what. So
fair, totally fair.
Yeah.
Your first Worlds was in 2011. What do you, I remember you guys beat us 3-2 in OT, and it was a strange goal. I think, did it go off Mickelson's skate? I can't remember.
It was
like
such
random,
a strange, like
broken
Niter
up
scored
play.
from like, Niter scored from below the goal line or something. Like,
that was wild. What do you remember about that experience? Because U18s is great, but like everyone's looking at the national team. That's what you're chomping at the bit for. So then you're there, like you said, you're playing with these players that you were looking up to and watching the whole time.
Yeah, like I think it like took me a little bit to settle in. I think I was like more nervous for the Four Nations Cup earlier on that year, which was in St. John's. And like, I think I was like more nervous for that. And then I was like kind of like playing fourth line and stuff like that at that point. I was like, that's okay. Like I'm young and just trying to get my feet wet per se. But Ben Smith was actually still around like a little bit at that point too in St. John's. And so like he came up to me and was like, hey, like, you like are probably like feel better at center, right? And I was like, well, yeah, like I'm playing center at school, like sure.
Yeah.
So then they like moved me from wing to center, and I'm like, obviously hate wing. Like I don't care to have a D down my throat every breakout.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm like, yeah, I'll play. I like to play center. So I was a little bit more nervous for that. But then like once Worlds came around, like I think like the intensity is what like was like awesome to be around, like how intense those moments were, and like. Again, like Ange was like so intense and I like loved that. And, you know, instead of shying away from that, like I just embraced it. And so, the one thing I remember about that game, and Tessa, I don't know if you remember, but like we were on a delayed penalty and Migs like Duggan tried to pass the puck to our D and our D missed it. And it missed the net by like this much.
Almost went in.
And so like, when we were like partying after, like we replayed that because we were like, holy shit, like we almost lost by this, this mistake. Like
an own goal.
That would be, I mean, like, I don't wish that upon any team ever. Like that would be like awful.
No.
So, but yeah, so I kind of like that overall, like, it was it was like the nicest weather ever in Switzerland at that moment. It was like 75 degrees, like
beautiful
Fahrenheit. But like, I was like, holy crap.
I mean, the weather was glorious, but one of the things that sticks with me when I think about this tournament all the time is there was this little hut outside that like cooked sausages, and they served them with like, it was just like the sausage wiener you would get in like a wax paper with like a round bun that wasn't even cut. Were you dipping into those? Because Augusta and I used to sneak those like pre-game after warm-ups. They were like,
oh my God,
quite frankly, the best sausage I've ever had. Were you guys diving into those too?
I'm sure some of the girls were, some of the women were, but like I don't remember that like at all.
I feel bad for you.
I feel bad for myself. I wish I would have been able to do that.
First Worlds are not generally the sausage worlds, probably, eh?
That's I'm like trying to be like strict, but like, yeah.
Do you have a favorite that sticks out in your mind? You represented the USA at 8 World Championships. Is there one that sticks out in your head as your fave, or a memory that kind of sits above all the rest?
Yeah, I mean, I would probably say, well, Malmo, Sweden was like awesome. Like, and like we went to Copenhagen for a day. Like that was a really cool thing. But like, I mean, like Tessa, like, you know how it is too, like playing in the other country, like of your main rivals is like one of the best. And so like Ottawa Worlds was like,
I knew you were going to say 2013. Yeah. You want to know why? You guys, I've never been so upset. So after they win, Nike had this slogan. Nike Canada had this slogan. And it was, "This is our game." And it was a sticker on the boards. And you guys all ripped it off. And you took your picture with it in the front. And I was like, no.
Yeah,
no.
that was bad. Yeah, that was like a bad moment, but a great moment. Yeah, but that was like,
that's awesome.
I don't know. That was like one of my favorite years. I think it was just like, I think it was just like a fun, like, tournament, like for myself and, you know, for my line and stuff all around. Like, I think we just had like it was just like a good tournament. But yeah, that's like,
is that when they figured out you, Niter, and Coyne were a problem?
No, I think I was playing with, I might have been playing with Coyner and Kess at the time still. So, Niter, Coyner and I didn't start till 15, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but
That must have been a fun line when you guys figured that out.
Yeah. Yeah, that was fun. I mean, like, I think I played with Courtney, I think almost my entire national team, like I think for like 8 years, 9 years. Like it was so Kendall's always been my left winger, I think. And then I could say I'm her center, whatever you want to put it. But yeah, I think with like Niter, like I mean no one can finish like her. So it was like what a line mate to have. And then like obviously Coiner's speed, like it just opens up a lot of time and space for myself to make a little bit more plays like I would like to. So it was like a great, like we were just so complimentary of each other. So yeah, I mean, it was pretty fun.
Yeah, I'm sure fun for you guys. I want to talk about 2018 a little bit because it was a big year for USA Hockey, for yourself included. You guys finally get that gold medal since 98. I saw an interview. Your mom, she's super cute, by the way. She had a great interview on TV, but she wasn't able to be there because someone had to bite the bullet and stay home with your brother because he had playoffs.
Yeah.
Was there a moment where you actually got to like call or FaceTime her and actually share in the moment with her and like what was said?
Yeah, I FaceTimed her like in the locker room after. Like I was like, like right away. And yeah, I mean, like that was hard not having her there and not having my younger brother there. But I mean, you just take advantage of the family that can make it. And like, that's part of being from a big family. Like someone's, sometimes that stuff happens. But I took a moment quickly after the game to do that. But, during or after the like whole celebration. But I actually was randomly drug tested after that game too. I'm like, come on. No. And I felt bad because of course like Pooh was randomly drug tested too. And I'm like nothing's worse than that. Like winning or losing, nothing's worse. Like you're either getting taken away from like everybody who's partying for like that hot minute, or you're like sitting there like, okay, like this is brutal. So, but yeah, like that was like, I mean, there's nothing like celebrating that. Like, that I've seen that cigar picture from 2010, like a million times for you. So like, it was such a great moment. And like the party afterwards is so fun too. So.
Oh, we've heard
about the party. Do you have like a highlight moment from that celebration?
Yeah, I
Tell me you dipped into that weird jungle juice that was in that
bar.
Did you do?
I don't remember. I just remember going to like some of the houses afterwards. Like, I can't think of the house right now. I'm sure you've heard stories from it, but like, yeah, like we just like, there was like a random guy performing at the like Netherlands house. And like, then a guy that night, like from the Netherlands, I think he won in like some event. So there was a huge celebration and like, but like, I don't know, it's kind of sketchy, like leaving the village and just like, and then like coming back and hopefully getting back, all of that stuff. But that was like the reason like 18 was fun is because like we could actually like leave the village. Like 2014, like we couldn't, like it wasn't safe to. And then like same with, Beijing was just a whole different experience all around. But like, I just feel like the 18 was like, that's why it was one of my favorite, not just because we won, but we were able to like get off the village and do some things. And so, I mean, and then our tour afterwards was like hell fun. It was so fun. Yeah. I think I gained about 15 pounds just strictly after that. So
you're supposed to. You absolutely should. Yeah. Every pound is worth it, I bet.
Yeah, seriously.
You follow that up with the 2019 NHL All-Star performance. Like, talk us through. That's really cool. You guys made a splash that year. That was like a moment for me where I was like, here we are. We're gaining steam. Like, let's go.
Yeah, I think that's like how I felt too. I was like, we really like obviously like the 2018 Olympics. And then like that was just like, first off, like it was cool that the NHL gave us like a chance to be there. Like I always kind of like try to give them credit for that because like they didn't have to, right? And so having us national team players there, Canada and US, like it was just a really cool moment after. And like I think a lot of like steam came from that too, as far as like obviously like whatever I demoed, and then Kendall actually like did race in the speed contest, but like some sponsorships came like after that too, like not just for ourselves, but like, I think more like sponsors were like interested in getting involved with the women's game. And I think like, like obviously at that point and, before this pro league, like we weren't making a lot of money. And so you rely on sponsorships. And so like, not to make it about money, but like that stuff was super helpful for us to be able to train at, places that we needed to take care of our bodies like we needed to. And so that was just a huge moment, I think, for women's hockey to give us more visibility and recognition.
Yeah, it's awesome. Not about money. It's about resources and having the support to train and all that stuff. And you didn't just demo. You did demo the passing event, but then you beat everyone's time.
You showed everyone how to do it.
Including Leon Draisaitl. Shout out to CCM for paying you after that.
Yeah,
they're one of our great friends.
You guys, like too. The day before, we did like a walkthrough, or a skate through, whatever. And guys, they're like, hey, if the lights hit, like, cause I'm like, what if I don't make it through? Like, it's hard. I'm like, they're like, if the lights hit, like that's commercial break. So like, just don't worry about it. Like, we'll just like figure it out. Oh yeah. Like the lights hit the day before. Like I like couldn't get the sauce passed out. I was like the cross-ice sauce, like over the thing. So like, I just happened to nail it that day. So right time.
You got all the jitters out in the biggest
moment.
That's just like bad warm-ups are the best warm-ups. When your team has a horrible warm-up, you're like, this is going to be a good game.
But I was super nervous for like the actual demo because I was like, okay, like I can't mess this up. I can't be like brutal.
Well, you weren't.
No. Mission accomplished.
Yeah, I guess
beat them all.
Oh my gosh. I want to talk a little bit about 2002 Olympics because, like I said, you are top 2 most annoying players I've ever played against. Like you're just hard to play against. So like. But in that moment in 2002, when in the first game, was it the first game when you broke your leg?
Yeah,
22, yeah.
I think I cried a little bit. Like I felt that was a moment for me where I was just like, no. And it didn't even affect me in any way, shape, or form. So for you, what was that experience like? Because athletes go through this stuff all the time, and this is a big moment. This was going to be. Did you know going in this was going to be your last Olympics?
I trained like it was like my last. I mean, I trained for every Olympics like it's like my last, I guess, right? But like I kind of was like, like we'll see type thing. It wasn't like I'm gonna, like I'm definitely going for another one. And so, yeah, I mean, like it was. I mean, I was like I had 3. It was my 3rd shift in. Like it was awful. I think the hard part is like I will never forget like my trainer like whispering in my ear like it's okay, like I'm like no, it's broken, like I'm like I know my leg's broken, like I broke bones before, so like you just know that feeling. And so the whole like process of it though was like I smile about it now because it was like just insane. Like I'm getting like stretchered off obviously, but like I was like more upset because I'm just like I'm out. Like I wasn't like the pain was there, but it was more like, F off. Like I just trained so freaking hard. And like now it's like, I know I'm out. But so like I'm getting stretchered off. Then I'm like going down like the backside of the rink. And like these people are sprinting with me as if I'm having like cardiac arrest. Like I go, I like finally I'm like, hey, like I like, and they don't like, no one speaks English really. So I'm like, hey, I was like, then what, like, you need to walk. So they all started walking. And like then our massage therapist can speak fluent Chinese. So like she so like we've had her forever. So she met us, like met the stretcher and me like halfway. And then I was like, so then they bring me in this back alley. Like it's just how the process is at different Olympics, but like back alley into this truck and I get like the x-ray and then find out. And again, like I'll never forget my coaches like running at me like in between periods through the hallway. And I was like, yeah, guys, I'm out. Like, so it was obviously super devastating. And, I think it's just like, being an older player on the team too, like I just felt like so much, pressure and like responsibility to do well and carry the team. And so being out, like, I was like, I just got to try to do my best as much as I can to like help is like where I'm at. And like I just had to view from the stands and try to help from there. But it sucked.
How long did you stay? Cause you needed surgery, right? Because didn't you tear ligaments in your ankle as well?
Yeah, like tore ligaments, broke my leg. Like so I stayed there the whole time. I like finished the tournament. Like I'm like, well, I felt like mentally, like I was like, is it best for me to leave at this point? Like I'm gonna leave, like mentally it's probably not gonna be great. I'm like, it's probably better to be around the girls. And like I asked, like Kendall and the staff and like Niter, I was like, hey guys, like, you guys feel like okay if I stay? And like, obviously they were like, yes, like, because I didn't want to be like a distraction either. And so like, before the games, I would kind of like, I wasn't around the locker room because I'm like, I don't need people coming up to me being like, hey, like, how's it going? Like, and so I kind of just like went back by the coaches and like hung out with like our video coach and stuff like that back there. But the nice thing was I was able to get treatment every day. So like my ankle went from like black, blue, disgusting to like looking great. And then we flew home and then I had surgery. So it was like starting all over again. But like when I was there too, like I was just trying to be like the best teammate I could be from that standpoint. But I've been to 3 Olympics and I've only been to 1 opening ceremony, which is so sad. But like,
really?
Yeah, because 2014, we played the next day at like noon. It was like one of those. And so like, kind of voting on as a team, kind of felt like we had to like, how that process is, but like, I forever will be like, you should never skip at opening ceremonies. It's like the coolest moments. Like 18 was awesome. And then 2022, we played the day before opening ceremonies. So like I got hurt. And then the next day, like I was like throwing up all day, the day of opening ceremonies. And I was like, what is going on? And our like doctor and stuff said like your adrenaline rush just came to like hit rock bottom. And so your body is like in shock. And so I was like super sick and I was like in a wheelchair at that moment. I'm like, yeah, like maybe.
What an entrance that would have been. Just a barf bucket and a wheelchair.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And like, it just would have been so bad. I think what helped me a little bit through the injury stuff though was like there was other Olympic athletes who like obviously like US athletes who heard about my injury and I heard about theirs, whether it was skiing, snowboarding or whatever. And we connected a little bit and like that helped because like, kind of a similar journey at that time. So
yeah, man, that's wild. And then you return home, you get the surgery. What was that recovery like? I heard you had a dog, Missy.
Yeah, Miss.
That helped you through.
Yeah. So yeah, she's turning 6 now or 7 this year. So it was great to obviously have her. But I basically set a goal for myself. Like I wanted to be, so I had surgery or whatever around the end of February. And then my goal was to like be running by like June 1st. And so I got there. I got there. I mean, like I was like, I'm going to train like I'm coming back. Like that was how my mindset was, whether I was going to or not. I'm like, cause I need to take rehab serious so I can like function and like, if I'm done, I want to be able to like golf well still. So like, I like, was like, let's take it serious. Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, let's take it serious. And then, I kind of just gave it a full like year before I made my decision to actually retire. So,
man, that is insane. And your dog helped obviously with dogs just are happy to see you all the time.
She was great. And it was good. It was good. I was like back in Wisconsin at that point. I had bought a house and stuff back home. So I was back in Milwaukee and my brother was like 3 houses down. So he helped me with a lot of stuff too.
Nice. Were you always picturing yourself getting into coaching after?
Yeah, I feel like, the nice part is like I was involved with U18 coaching while I was still playing. And so like that kind of like I'll be honest, when I was like maybe in high school or like college, I was like, this is not for me. Like, because I was doing camps and stuff. And I'm like, oh yeah, like it's just a different, like when you have your own, they're like, people are like, wait until you have your own team. Like you're gonna love it way more. And so then I like started coaching U18 stuff. I'm like, I absolutely love this. Like, it's fun to be able to coach, especially like that age group was really fun just because it's like, I'm still helping them get to where they really want to get to. They haven't reached like their main goals yet. And so that was like a really fun age group to coach. And obviously now being at the pro level, it's totally different, but it's like still, I'm having a great time.
Yeah, like what's it like coaching Kendall now after playing with her right beside her for so many years?
Well, I think like that's like the major question I've gotten, like, oh, you're coaching some of your teammates. Well, like for one, like I did take like a 3-year break from all of these girls. Like I didn't, really interact with them, like maybe chatted with them here and there or saw them like in passing. But, I took a 3-year break. So it's like, I'm at like, my life's in a way different spot. Like their careers are in different spots too. And like, look at Kendall, like she had a kid, everything like that. So it's like, everyone's a little bit different, but in a good way. And I think like the benefit that I have, like being teammates with them. I know what type of coaching they like, just being around them with different coaches, right? And so that's been helpful. And like for me, like I was probably one of the most intense players, and like I'm an intense coach, but like it's just different. It's like for me, how can I get the best out of these players? Like how can I make them and help them perform at their top level? And so like tearing them down isn't going to be the thing that's going to help them. And so it's just a balance of keeping them, holding them accountable for things, but also like I can joke around with them too. And so
I think too, players that turn coaches, they're always coach players. Like there's some players that I've played with, like Danielle Goyette, she was always a player coach. It was just normal for her to be on a bench or behind a bench after. So like if she were to have been the head coach for a team the year after she retired, I would have been like, yeah, because I'm listening to her anyways on the bench. So it doesn't matter. I feel like you probably had that on the bench and with that team anyways. So it wouldn't have been strange for Kendall to have you on the bench anyways, running stuff the way you do.
Yeah, exactly. So that's been a good balance.
You're a super intense player. Does the number of eyebrow wipes measure the level of...
like, who'd you get this information from? Like, it's so funny. Like, that's such a bad habit. Like, when I am in, like, I guess in stressful situations, such bad habit. Like, I've had that since, like, high school. But that's why I got my eyebrows microbladed now. So, like, I don't have to worry about that. But it's so funny. Like Kelly Panic would be like, yeah, I know when you're just like thinking hard, like you got eyebrow touch. I was like, yeah, Kel, come on. Like, but it's what I'm known for, I guess. But
yeah. You're like connecting with the thought or what's going on?
No, it's just like habit. It's no different than like biting nails. But like, I'm like, I wish I could come up with a different habit that doesn't involve that. But
that's pretty good. It's definitely better than biting nails.
I do both though, so that's bad.
Okay. You got to double down on it.
Yeah.
We love having Ken Klee on Jocks and Jills. We like seeing him in the rink. What's it like working alongside him every day?
Yeah, I mean, again, like it was nice to be able to have like him as a coach for the national team for a few years.
You played for him.
Yeah, and so being able to coach with him, I've learned a lot, and obviously I'm coaching the D, and so like just like it's been a really good experience, like being able to like learn like small details about defending that, maybe I don't pick up on, but I also like did pick up on some of that stuff when I was playing because I'm like, I hate going against good defenders. And so like, that's what I'm going to try to teach and cue in on. But Ken's like, he, explained to me when I first took the job, like, like I'm here to grow you as a coach too. And I think that's like one of the things that I respected about him is that like, yeah, he's here to like make this team better and this organization better, but he's also like, as much as he's taking feedback from me or, Critter, it's like he's still like mentoring me as well. And so it's been a great, couple months so far. And he has expectations that I'm, trying to meet every single day. But at the same time, like we have fun along the way. And so it's a good balance.
That's awesome. Maybe another three-peat this year with you behind the bench.
It'd be nice to win. Yes, of course.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. We always love coming to Minnesota for the celebrations. So we wouldn't be mad about that at all.
Reeds,
we love hitting Tom Reeds after a win with you all. Thank you so much for doing this today, Brianna. It was awesome. Hear about your career, so many amazing things, and can't wait to see where it goes with coaching.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on, you guys.
That was today's interview presented by Sober Carpenter, Canada's craft leader in non-alcoholic beer, full flavor, zero compromise. Thank you very much to Brianna Decker. She's so awesome in the way she walked us through her whole career, from the Hall of Fame to all the time she's won to the way it ended with that injury and how she's kind of stayed in the hockey world since then. What a great story and a great character. Probably not so much fun to play against though, eh?
Nightmare. Worse. Just awful.
That would have been absolutely no fun at all. But chatting with her absolutely was. So thank you very much again to Brianna Decker. Now it's time for our FanDuel Friday 5. Make every moment more on FanDuel. It's a packed weekend. Well, no game Saturday, but a triple header on Sunday. We don't have the lines for those games yet. So let's talk about this Vancouver-Ottawa game. Friday night at the Charge. It's the Golden Eyes and the Charge. And I have to tell you, the odds, Tessa, dead even.
Close.
Well,
I don't doubt it.
Dead even on the money line.
Mash back in Ottawa. I get it. She's going to be playing the game of her life. The Olympic rosters will have come out for Team Canada. Gwyneth Phillips already has, that confidence under belt being named to Team USA. I have to go with Ottawa, though. I feel like they're rolling. They're playing the right way. I know Coach Carla, it's up in the air if she's going to be there for this game. However, I think the Charge have all the reasons to get it for Carla, whether she's there or not. So I'm going to go with the Charge because I think they're playing the right way. And I think Gwen can keep this one super tight, super close. And Ottawa's just going to have to get some dirty, gritty goals.
Yeah, Gwen has been awesome so far. 4 straight games, 3 games of which she's saved 34 or more shots in. So Gwen Phillips on a roll right now. So we're taking the Ottawa Charge on Friday night. No one be mad at us if. Do you think since the curse is lifted, we're allowed to be on the Charge's side? We're allowed to roll with them? Are we about?
You know what? It's awful to say this, but I've been so wrong in all of these FanDuel picks lately.
It's okay. Once you get on a roll, you'll get on a roll.
Yeah.
We got one question today for Dr. Jill. And if you want to get in touch with us for Dr. Jill or the Send It segment, you can send us an email, jocksinjills@thepwhl.com. You could call us 1-929-542-2442. Leave us a voicemail there. If you want to DM us, we're at jocksinjills across social media. Tessa, this one is for you. And I believe it's about Shoresy.
Okay.
Hi, Jackie, Julia, and Tessa. This is Matt from Guelph. I had a silly question for the pod. I'm rewatching an old episode of Letterkenny featuring Tessa and Kate from the TSN days. And about 2/3 of the way through the episode, Tessa and Kate are interviewing Riley and Jonesy. And from the background, the character of Shoresy makes a silly joke about a current PWHL player. And I wonder if you had a funny story about the shoot that day and how that joke came to be. Thanks.
The only joke I could remember it was he had asked me for a player, a current popular player. And I was like, Spooner, because Spoonsy, Buckeye, good pal of mine.
Of course.
And the way Jared Kiso works is he's very off the cuff. And it's like we did that take probably 4 or 5 times. And he spewed 3 or 4 different jokes every time we did a take. And all of them had us in stitches. So for me, it was just like, I didn't know what he was going to be pulling out or saying. And none of it really has a backstory. It's just like, just ridiculous banter that he throws out there. I don't think he used the one, but one of them he said, he was like, yeah, I took Spooner out for sushi and she loved it, like was one of them. And it was just like, what? It was so ridiculous. Anyways, there is no backstory. Kiso is just a comedic genius. And that wasn't even in the script that we had.
Wow.
There was no part in it.
Funny.
Yep. When the first take we did, he just randomly was standing there and just shouted it out. And then we were all like caught off guard and we all laughed, obviously ruining the scene. And then we did the scene, like I said, multiple more times. And he just kept throwing stuff out. And at the end, he said to me, he's like, is Spooner going to be, offended? I don't want to offend anybody. And I was like, no, Spoonsy loves a good laugh. And I think she'd love that shout out. So
yeah,
there is no story behind it except for Kiso just being the brains that he is.
It would have been really good if you said something like, she left my bra at my house at Ohio State, like she did to you.
I didn't share that. It was a brassiere, as her mother said.
Year 1 of Jocks and Jills, if y'all want to go back and listen to the Natalie Spooner episode. And actually, Jackie, I got to tell you something. I have gone back, Liam and I, we've been watching the episode of The Amazing Race, or the season of The Amazing Race, rather, where Natalie Spooner's on it. And so is our amazing producer, Jackie. So that's where Liam and I are at in our TV watching. And I have to say, we're truly obsessed with it. Games coming up this week. Vancouver at Ottawa Friday night, like we said. Sunday, triple header. Ottawa at Boston, Seattle at Minnesota, Vancouver at Montreal. Thank you very much to our sponsors, Shark Ninja, Clever Mocktails, Sober Carpenter, everyone at the PWHL, and behind the scenes here, Jackie, Buckles. Love you guys for helping us put this on. You can follow us on social media, wherever you got it. Instagram, X, TikTok, Facebook, Blue Sky. We're on YouTube at the PWHL. You can watch every single episode of Jocks and Jills there. And make sure you throw us a subscribe and a like across audio platforms. That really helps us out. We love you all. Enjoy the games this weekend. We will talk to you on Tuesday.